Hello everyone, I'm Chester44 and welcome to this Let's Play of Blades of Avernum. Last episode, we happened to go through, him, whichever you want to call it, which basically appeared to be a scenario entirely revolving around an AI kind of thing created somewhere. I still don't know much of the setting around it, but I don't know if that was fun. Anyway, turns out it actually had a sequel. Him, Wolf at the Door. So that's what we're going to do. No matter where I go or what I do, the wolf always finds me. A deafening roar smothers all our thoughts while we run for safety. A pale red light is just in front of us. White boulders and broken marble smash into the once so beautiful floor of the HMC, the Harson Mining Corporation. Once we reach the fresh air, we keep running. The cold air brushes against our cheeks and our eyes are full of dust. Once we are at a safe distance, we stop and turn around. The mining company is an utter mess, a complete ruin. We sit down and stare at the broken marble slabs now lining the huge entryway to the HMC. A cold wind stirs our bodies, and only now we look at our surroundings. We are in a forest. The sun is already set now, and it's quite dark. There is actually just one path here, and we are on it. From where we stand, we can only go north, deeper into the forest. This just isn't our lucky day. If you haven't read the included README file, I ask you to do so before you play the scenario. It contains info, hints, and a walkthrough, yada yada. This scenario has implemented in it a system of difficulty that can make your life pretty sour, depending on the difficulty you want it set to. For a first-time run, I recommend the easy setting. Then, when you have played the scenario until the end, you can replay it with either the medium or hard setting. Well, since he's recommending it, and there's been a long discussion recently on the thread on the forums that I've been posting this in regarding my own expectations, my own beliefs on difficulty, others saying difficulty, and all that sort of other stuff. Yada yada yada. Let's go with easy. HMC South. No, we don't want to go that way. That road leads us back to the HMC, which is the last place we want to go now. Incidentally, this happened to say that it was recommended level 23 to 27 for the level for this scenario. I went with 25 instead of the opening one. Something is very wrong in these woods. We can't place our finger on it, but something is wrong. It's far too quiet. You'd think there'd be animals here that make sounds, but that's absent too. All we hear is wind. Wind and nothing else. No howling of a wolf, no barking of a dog, chirping of a bird, not even the cawing of a raven. That is definitely very concerning. And worrying, of course. Concerning and worrying. As we continue on this godforsaken road, it doesn't get any better. The silence persists. We look around at the warped, burned trees. Will this road ever end? We don't have much choice, though. Following the road is the only thing we can do. Pilgrims Rest, to the west. A location. Good. Oh. In the dark, we stumble upon a small hut. The walls have started to rot and disintegrate. Some walls have collapsed completely. The door has been left wide open. As we enter the hut, we hear crackling noises under our feet. We step away and look down. A human carcass. The crackling noises came from the skull that was crushed under our heavy boots. Something weird happened here. There are no real signs of a struggle. It's almost like the guy trusted his killer to come close, only to be ripped apart and thrown about. Okay, it's called Wolf in the Woods. It mentions something about someone he trusted. I'm going to go out on a limb here right at the beginning and say that maybe we're thinking werewolf is going to be showing up here. In this small clearing in the forest, there are very clear remains of a fire. While it's not recent, it isn't that old either. We walk a bit closer by and poke around in the ashes until we find bones. If they are human or not, we can't really tell, but they are bones all right. This region is known for burning prisoners that deserve death. Maybe that's just what happened here. Hold on. Looks like we have stumbled upon a settlement of some sort. The sign by the road says Pilgrims Rest. Oh, isn't that a spot of luck? Let's go and tell the mayor what happened at the HMC. He's bound to be happy with the news. Not only that, actually, we might also be able to ask around why everything is so quiet. The silence still persists, even in the vicinity of the settlement. The silence is oppressive. Welcome to Pilgrims Rest. Let me guess. Nobody's going to be here. Pilgrim's Rest appears to be abandoned. There's still crops, but they're dying. Building completely empty, no. We hope to find some comfort here. We hope to make some people happy. It seems the inhabitants of this place will hear none of it. The house's interior is a gruesome mix of blood and dust. We look around. There is blood everywhere. The furniture has been ruined. The floor tiles have been smeared with blood or broken altogether. Strangely, there is just one body in this house while there are 2 beds. Where did the other person go? A body is lying here. It has been battered, cut, and stabbed in such a cruel and brutal way that we can't even be sure of its sex. This attack was so ferocious it could hardly have been just a human, perhaps a group or a wild animal. The utter silence of this area rules out any sort of beast, though. It must have been humans. Whatever it was, it's gone now. We look a few moments more at the battered face, then stand up and move on. There is nothing we can do. I had a feeling there's something like that was going to be the situation here. Oh, right, so this is Pilgrim's Rest. Seems rather deserted. The silence still persists, and the streets and buildings are in a terrible state. Should we be that surprised, though? After the closing of the HMC, what work could the people here do? The HMC gave them work, some even a life. Many left town, probably for the sole reason they needed work. Work was not here, so they went elsewhere. Hold on, there's something here. Nope, can't go in there. Or that side. I'd like the usage of curtains there. This house was abandoned. We step in and look around only to find dust and cobwebs. The furniture is still here, though, which is a bit puzzling. Surely if you move out, you take all your stuff with you. Could be they left in a hurry. Something happened at the house in front of us. It's difficult to say, but it looks as though there was some explosion. The walls have collapsed and rubble is everywhere on the street. It looks as though we can abandon our earlier thought about people just leaving this town. Something forced them to leave. Landlord's room. Only disturbed for urgent matters. Well, we have the urgent matter of nobody's here. Nothing in there. Couple torches. We are finding torches, so that's something. I think we found the town hall there. What's this? A roadblock of some kind, it seems. For some reason, people dumped stones and wood here. To keep something out seems logical, but what? There are no wild animals, too silent for that. Makes us think of what we saw in that house just outside Pilgrim's Rest. Perhaps they wanted to keep out whatever was at that house. Sure, it could also have been bandits or something of the kind. A roadblock, eh? Guess we are being forced in a certain direction. Nothing on any of the bookshelves there. I feel like there must be something we missed here. Like there Should be something else up there, but... Was there? Perhaps not. Yeah, something forced them all right. This seems to be the main square, but it's covered with bones, blood, and stones. People were fighting fiercely, with the same brutality as that which the person in that house was attacked. The traces of fight and carnage lead into the building to the west. The carnage aside, it must have been a fine-looking building before its doorstep was colored red. We walk up to this message board. There are several notes here and one large plaque, which has been carefully fastened with screws. It warns travelers of bandit activity. So apparently there is a chance that bandits attacked the house we saw earlier. Whether the carnage on this square is also caused by these bandits, we can't say. Probably not, but there's a slim chance. There are some small notes concerning festivities and the like, some note about a lost puppy and more trivial stuff. Interestingly, the posting dates mentioned on these notes are days before the time the HMC got evacuated, not after. Oh, that is worrying. Welcome to the town hall. I have a feeling that's where we're meant to go next. So let's go in. If we can believe what the sign outside said, this is the town hall, and it's a complete and utter mess. Stuff that wasn't absolutely pulverized has been strewn about. Who in his right mind could have done this? Even the cruelest of bandits wouldn't have had the chance to wreak such havoc on the main square. We would have heard wild animals if they had been here. That leaves us with nothing. Interestingly, there is a table blocking one of the doors. It's as if whoever was here fighting for his life tried to barricade the doors. He or she didn't succeed. This place was the last refuge, the grave of the last warriors. If that is true, then the fighting began somewhere deeper in town. We'll have to follow the road, along the barricades, blood, and gore if we want to know what happened here. Honestly, we'll have to follow it anyway if we want to escape this hellish pit. The last hiding place, the mayor's office. Whoever was hiding here could not have run anywhere. The walls have partially collapsed, the door has been banged open. Body parts on the floor and blood everywhere. A gruesome sight. What an extreme fright it must have been to be in this room, knowing that you will be killed in a gruesome way. You know there is a wolf at the door, but you don't know when it'll come in to get you. Oh, there's the title drop. Oh yay, a healing potion. And yet I don't see bodies. In fact, there aren't really any bodies anywhere here. Skeletons and skulls, sure, but very few actual bodies. This sign has been thoroughly defaced. Oh look, a blessed cloak. Which we don't actually need. If this indeed is Pilgrims Rest's inn, then we can forget the comfort we had hoped for. There are no bodies, even though the inn looks like a battlefield. From where we are, we can peek into the commons. The beds have been ripped apart, and the whole room generally resembles a trash pit a lot more than it does an actual bedroom. There's the kitchen. Doesn't look like there's much food left there. Got a barrier there. The main streets here have been blockaded by barricades. They were hastily made and don't look very sturdy. The attack must have been as sudden as it was ferocious. The more we progress, the more there is to ponder about. What were these people running for, and what could have been so aggressive a force that it could ram through boulders? What kind of beast was this? Oh, there's a wall destroyed. Ugh, we don't feel very good, actually. Feels a bit like a cold or the start of the flu. Must be the atmosphere and the situation we're in. The stress and all that. I don't know if it actually is. That's probably a hint of something else. What a stench in this place. A smell of alcohol and filth. There are some shelves with bottles, and the table also is filled with empty or half-empty bottles. This place must have been the local drunkard's drinking place. In a sad and funny way, whatever ravaged this town, it didn't enter here. That is a lot of wine and ale. Empty room. Oh, we could go in there. Not that there's anything in here. The alley sort of ends here with a barricade. Judging by the blood, the townspeople tried hard to make sure whatever was coming wouldn't go through. Alas, it didn't really help. What a mess again. Interestingly, the killer or killers came barging right through the door. There's a hole in the wall, and the one door that is left is wide open. When we stand around pondering the situation, the silence comes to our attention again. Since the moment the dust started settling at the collapsed HMC, we have heard nothing but our own footsteps. Utter silence all the time, all around us. There. Viewing the barricade from the other side, we can see just how they made it. They simply blew up a house and used its rubble to make the barricade. All that hard work, and then forget there is a back alley. So sad that it's almost funny. A closer look reveals that there are some nails and teeth marks, but not many. That makes the situation even sadder, since apparently, whatever came here, it found the alley rather quickly. This shop has been cleared out thoroughly. Everything is empty and a thick layer of dust has settled. Looks as though the owners knew what was coming and left this place just in time. Another barricade in this tiny alley. The owner of the house put an enormous boulder in front of his front door. Kept the beasts out, but did the guy come out alive ever again with that rock in front of the door? We won't know. An old storage room. This whole complex is probably storage rooms. All of them probably as filthy and unkept as everything we have seen in this town. Chances are slim, but maybe we will find something useful between the trash and filth. There. Oh, gloves. Just gloves. Literally nothing else. Healing potion. Torches. Here's the other side of that barricade. Nothing in there. Nothing in there. Alright. Let's move on a bit further. The closer we get to the center of town, the more unnerving everything gets. The silence still persists, and it's more oppressive than ever. Jack Wiggle's furniture. Another barricade here. Teeth and claw marks all over it, generally on the other side of the barricade. Though we don't know what made them, we can guess it came from the square on the other side of this barricade. It looks as though the owners of this place did a timely runner. There is some trash here and there, but cobwebs and dust is what mainly dominates this place. Wise decision on their side to leave. That's another barricade. Whatever came past here, it didn't like alleys. It sort of went right through the walls in much the same way as it barged through the barricades we passed earlier. Another example of its strength. As we look up into the gloomy night sky, we ponder what happened here. What could have chased all these people to a certain death, but without leaving any bodies? Remarkable, yet frightening. Frightening, concerning, plenty of words for it. From the dark alley, we emerge into a bigger, broader street. The scent of blood is starting to overpower us, and we get an urge to vomit. The sooner we get out of this place, the better. Pilgrims Rest, House of Justice. And that's Shea Patrick Rest. Oh let's go up first. Okay, this is a clothing area. Right. These must be the barracks for the local militia. Some walls seem to have collapsed, but for most of the building is still standing. Some blood here and there, but not much. The fighting must have been mostly in the streets. Stairs go to the roof, most probably. We don't have any real business there, so let's just stay downstairs for now. Commander Englandsbrook. Dead potted plant. We're still coughing a lot. House with pants. Still nothing else here. Another barricade. And another barricade here. This barricade was attacked from the other side. There are a lot of nail marks, and some boulders must have been pulverized before their attention was directed to something else. Clearly, they started attacking, but stopped soon after. Apparently, the beast didn't quite agree with what probably was a barricade. There are crumbled stones everywhere, and also the surrounding houses have not stayed completely undamaged. The more we progress through this mystery-shrouded city, the more unnerving it all gets. The oppressive silence combined with all the blood and gore we come across doesn't bode well for the future. We should tread carefully. Yeah, that's pretty much a given. There's a lot of destruction here. These poor souls. They went into this room when they saw their enemies and locked the door. Never came out. We're getting close to the center here, I think. People blockaded off the way to the next part of town. A wise decision, since the beast found other victims and left the other parts of town sort of untouched. Well, probably. We can't be too sure of it. After tracking through this pit of carnage, this hellish place of blood and pain, this managed to stand out. The brutality and force that must have come with what happened here was astonishing. Everything, including rubble, is soaked with blood. One of the buildings is partially collapsed. A lot of walls have tumbled down together with the roof. The building seems to be fairly big. Anyway, the blood trail leads us inside. Oh look, an energy potion, spiritual herbs. How useful. As well as a couple scrolls, which I'm not going to bother taking. It's because not all of the floor is actually covered that we know that this building's floor is built with stone tiles, for you'd say that the floor was covered with a red carpet. The blood is everywhere, and the stench of decay is horrendous. Staring into the darkness that is the interior of this building, we'd much rather go elsewhere. Maybe that's what we should do. We'll come back once we find a good reason to go in. The square might have some buildings that are worth looking at. That road to the west, that'll be the entryway to the church. Pity it's blocked, since the church seems to be quite beautiful, viewing it from here. Inside, it probably isn't much better than what we have seen here, filled with decay and all that. Lamps and other tools. Another healing potion. HMC office. What luck! If we can believe what the sign says, this must be the local HMC office. There seem to be some bookshelves still in there with scrolls in them. They might be worth a look. We search ourselves and soon find something of interest. It seems to be an old record of the HMC about the project to be titled Him. As the HMC is growing, it becomes difficult to maintain plant. Everywhere there is business, everywhere things are happening, and we simply don't have the kind of manpower to efficiently record everything that is happening. No powerful enough human being on the planet would ever want to do such mundane jobs as closing and opening doors, recording what comes in and out, and maintaining a pleasant atmosphere. It is apparent we need something bigger than a human being. We read on until we come to another interesting bit. We decided on a half-organic, half-machine being. It will be titled HIM, Human Intelligence Machine, and it will do all tasks necessary to maintain our big plant. Planning and testing will be in the hands of Mr. Conrad and John. Thus the scroll ends. We know what happened afterwards, how it all went wrong. Let us go again. We search the shelves and soon find something of interest. It seems to be an old record of the HMC about the project to be titled HIM. There are problems with HIM, it appears. During some tests, HIM's mind got damaged. John informed us of something called morality failure, but he didn't quite tell us what it does. Anyway, HIM has been terrorizing the workers of it. Haven't been there myself, but inside sources confirm this. Trapping in small rooms, trapping in the lower mines, causing small explosions. Now, the trapping of people is relatively innocent, but the explosions can be dangerous. The toxic canisters we use to get rid of all kinds of vermin could get damaged. The toxic gas in it might escape and infect human beings with nasty consequences. Is that what happened then? Mine workers got infected with the poison and brought it back home. They then died at home, possibly infecting their relatives. Relatives then poisoned others. In no time, the town would have been infected, ill, or dead. It doesn't really account for the struggles and the brutality of force that we saw in these streets, but it does account for the disappearance of all the townspeople. If you want to know more, our best guess is to go to the hospital, which, if we are right, is a place where the blood trail led us. Oh! So, zombie apocalypse. Church entrance. Dear visitors, please abide by the rules, for God himself is watching over these holy grounds. The coughing has become worse now. We do hope we don't fall too ill, since we do intend to get out of this town alive. Not a lot is written on this message board except the names of the hanged men over there, and what the church has been doing lately. Not very interesting. We're gonna turn into zombies, aren't we? Well, let's continue in. It's indeed a hospital in here. The floor and arrangement of the hall to the south betrays the building's purpose. There is rubble everywhere, and the amounts of blood are enormous. What a grim sight this is. We'd be happy if we could go away. Meanwhile, the silence is still there. A deafening silence, almost. Let's try then find the information we need and piss off. Doctor's office. Please knock before entering. We rummage through the desk of one of the doctors of this hospital. Most papers we come across appear to be budget-related stuff and diagnosis reports that are of mild interest to us. However, soon we hit a journal. New patients came in today. Interestingly, 2 mine workers with just about the same symptoms. Seems to be some sort of poisoning. HMC was evacuated today. Link? The following few pages describe their symptoms, mostly headache and stomachache. A bit onwards, a new status report on the patients. This is getting a bit out of hand. More mine workers came in, including some of their relatives that apparently stayed at home to care for them. All of them have the same symptoms. They feel ill, miserable, some have spots on their skins. Turn the page. All beds are taken, still more patients. We don't have the capacity for this. A spreading disease probably caused by a toxin from the HMC. A lot of mine workers have it. Estimates are that a quarter of the town got infected. More of this on the following pages. We skim through it and start reading again after a few pages. This can't be. Never seen something like it. The toxin is causing the people to mutate? Their skin looks deathly and their eyes turn either yellow or red. Speech affected. They growl rather than speak. What is this? The doctor himself might be getting infected at this point. The handwriting starts to look really bad and it's not improving. It gets worse with every sentence, making it hard to read. Can't write well. Am infected too, maybe. Skin pale, eyes discolored. Must have help and have help soon. Getting worse. The report continues, but the handwriting is so bad that we can't really read it. Even if we could, the sentences are garbled, full of spelling mistakes and grammatical errors. Strangely, the doctor describes something we have seen before. This disease business is worrying, particularly since we are feeling ill too right now. What if the disease is affecting us? We sure have to get out of this place before the disease gets us. What was that? All this silence, the utter, deafening, oppressive silence. Surely that wasn't a sound. Probably just our ears taking a spin with our thoughts. Could it be? No, the streets were completely empty just a while ago. Surely they will be empty now too. Unless they were waiting for us. silent as the lion, waiting for his prey to be exactly where it can't move. The mutation the doctor described, the ones falling for the toxin didn't die, they lived as undead. Not dead, not alive, somewhere in between, ready to feed upon whoever comes here. We must go. We are still alive and a lot faster than the zombies. Slow, waggling monsters. We have to leave. We have to run immediately. But where? There might be just one building that is not infected where the zombies have not been yet. The church. Problem, though, the entrance is blocked. We saw all the rubble. Running straight towards it is no option. We have to find another route. We can't go through the fence nor around it. Digging a tunnel would take far too long, so we should go over it. The roofs! We go over the roofs. Let's hope the zombies won't be following us over the roofs. It's our best bet, and we have no time to lose. We have to find the stairs to go to the roof, quickly. Stairs. Wait a sec. The militia. We were there. We found stairs. We should go there and take the stairs up. Now we must run. Run! In the next episode! Sorry, I couldn't resist. Because this episode has gone on long enough, I'm afraid. A dramatic point in which to pause. Next episode, we'll get to the roofs and get to the church. Okay, so it wasn't werewolves, it's vampires. This is going to be interesting. So we'll be heading to the church. That'll be in the next episode, so until then, I'm Chester44, that is Fox, Sheik, Bonnie, and Draco. This has been a Blades of Avernum Let's Play, and I shall see you all next time.